Hi, I'm Richard Rosso, Director of Financial Planning for Clarity Financial and editor for Real Investment Advice, and I wanted to guide you to my latest piece, which is 8 steps to fiscal fitness. I always do this. This is my own activity every autumn. It's a time of transition, clear perspective. It's also a really good time for financial housekeeping. So I hope at least one of these 8 tips resonates with you. And the first one is you want a thorough portfolio review with an objective partner. So let me explain what I mean. Your mix of assets in your 401k or just your investments in general of stocks, bonds, and cash, if you've ignored them, well, they've gotten a bit out of whack. And what I mean by that, stocks have done well. Stocks are about ready to hit new highs. If you haven't taken profit, if you haven't rebalanced your portfolio back to where your risk attitude is, you might be surprised that stocks are overwhelming the rest of your portfolio. So you want to meet with a fiduciary, and what that means is somebody who has your interests first, and go through what we call a rebalancing or restructuring. Get your portfolio this fall back to in line, in tolerance with where your risk gut or attitude happens to be. Next fiscal fitness tip is sell your losers and trim your winners. And what does that mean? Well, there are going to be some dogs in your portfolio, probably some that you've been sitting on for a long time. It's a good time to review those and perhaps move away from them. And it's also a good time to look at your winners and maybe not take them completely off the table, but trim profits. Now, you might have very good positions. They've done well for you, but this is what we call tax harvesting. It's done for the most part toward the end of the year to make sure that if you've had any capital gains, you're offsetting them with capital losses. Candidly, this is not going to add a lot to your performance, but it will allow you to move away from positions that haven't been working and or take some of what I call the heat off those positions that have done very, very well for you. Very wise rules. Step 3 is fire your stodgy brick and mortar bank. And let me help you understand what that means. I'm sure all of us every day go to the bank and deposit checks. We're always at the bank. I kid. How many people walk into a bank anymore? Okay? So your neighborhood bank is a dinosaur. They offer lower yields on savings than what we call virtual banks. For example, like Synchrony Bank, which you can take a look at synchronybank.com. Now, banks such as Synchrony, Ally, Discover, these are FDIC insured, but they don't have the same overhead. Therefore, they are giving you higher yields on savings, on CDs, on money markets, and they're very, very easy to set up. Number 4 is get an insurance checkup. Oh, I know, we're never going to use insurance. We're never going to die. We're never going to have an accident, but we do. So this is a very good time, especially before open enrollment season at your employer, where you're re-examining all your benefits, is to do a thorough insurance checkup. You want to look at your homeowner's policies. You want to look at your auto policies. You want to make sure you have enough life insurance, disability insurance, right? What if, God forbid, you're driving on the road and you get hit and you need to be out of work for an extended period of time, okay? People overlook insurance in general because it's not fun, right? It's a little boring, but it's very important because you're mitigating financial risks that you can't afford to take on. If you'd like, you can go and get an insurance checkup document at consumer-action.org. Number 5 is don't overlook your employer's open enrollment period, which happens usually every November. Now, I am writing another piece, blog piece on this for you next week so that you can really get a good handle on maximizing your employer benefits. But now is a very good time to go through and examine your health care insurance. Very likely, it's about to change. More companies are taking on what we call high deductible plans, which means that you're going to pay more out of pocket for deductibles, whether you're single or family, and they're going to couple them what we call a health savings account, which allows you to save pre-tax and use money for medical expenses tax-free. So you're going to want to examine these these benefits very, very carefully. You want to make sure that your life insurance is adequate for your family situation. There are many studies out there, and one that I'm referencing next week from AFLAC, that shows that people spend less than an hour, okay? Employees spend less than an hour reviewing their employer benefits. Employer benefits are your first line of defense to financial vulnerability. In other words, you have benefits that are there to help you mitigate financial risks, but many people just take the same benefits they've taken the year before. Over 90% of individuals keep the same benefits without reviewing maybe anything new. That's a big mistake. And again, I'm going to have some tips for you next week that I think you'll find very, very important. Number 6, check beneficiary designations on all your IRAs and life insurance vehicles. I know this sounds silly, but when we run financial plans and help people go through documents, this is one of the most common errors we see. We see ex-spouses, we see no beneficiaries at all. Listen, you got to be careful. This is money that goes directly to another party. So make sure that all your beneficiaries are in line with what your needs are or what your intentions are. Another mistake we've seen is that you might have supplied beneficiaries, say, for example, to your custodian of your IRA, and guess what? They don't have it on file anymore. That's been common. So you want to double check. Proper beneficiary designations will allow you to have your assets directed to the parties you intend. Don't make the mistake by not checking these beneficiary designations every year. Number 7 is shop for a credit card that better fits your needs. Hey, are you a traveler? Do you like cash back? Listen, we use credit cards. I know, it's tough to face, but most Americans have a balance, or even those who use credit cards wisely where they don't maintain a monthly balance, but they use their cards for travel and or cash, are always looking for the best cards out there. So you can go to creditcards.com or go to NerdWallet and make sure that you're using the right cards. Make sure the cards that you have are for the needs that you want. Number 8 is to make sure that your emergency cash reserve is where you need it to be. Okay? Your emergency cash reserve is either a savings account or a money market fund that carries anywhere from 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Maybe you've had to dip into your emergency reserve because the car needed a repair. Some people needed a new air conditioning. Summer in Houston, I know a lot of people have had to replace their air conditioners. So your emergency cash reserve might be a bit low. Make sure that next year you get on track to increase or get your emergency reserve back up to where it should be. And again, these are 8 simple, actionable fiscal fitness tips that you can take on as the weather gets cooler. And I'm Rich Rosso, Certified Financial Planner, Director of Financial Planning for Clarity, and contributor to Real Investment Advice. Hope you like the article.